Good afternoon, it's Lee Cassidy for Tactile Tech Thursday. So each Thursday we talk a little bit about what we're doing as a business and just explain what we're trying to achieve with it as well. I did talk a little bit yesterday about some of the things we've done with Aston University in the Advanced Services Group. So what we've done is spent about just short of 3 years working with them and trying to understand the kind of things that we can do to improve what we do for our customers. So looking at the type of products and services we offer and actually getting more towards delivering a capability. And that's what these things are about. So I'm giving you an example, and it's an example that Professor Tim Baines uses quite regularly within the confines of the Advanced Services Group and talking about what advanced services are. So if you've got a house with a garden, commonly you'll buy yourself a lawnmower because you want to cut the grass. So you'll go somewhere, you'll buy the lawnmower, so that's the product, and they may offer you, if the lawnmower breaks, that they'll fix it for you. So that's your standard service offering that goes alongside it. So a very basic service offering with a standard product. So you mow your lawn, it breaks, they'll fix it. But what they could do is say, well, what we'll do is each year we'll come along and actually do a service on your mower and ensure that the blades are sharpened, so you're going to get the best use of it for that year. Or they could actually say, we'll come along each month and check it over and make sure it's working correctly. So each time we're getting closer and closer towards delivering a capability and adding more advancement in the services that we offer. It could be that they say, well, we actually could give you some training on how to cut the lawn the best way using our lawnmower, because we understand the lawnmower and we can see your lawn and how it's laid out, and see if we can do a better way of doing that lawn. The next stage on could be, well, why don't we cut your lawn for you? We'll actually come along and we'll mow the lawn and keep it at the right level, and make sure it looks pristine for you all. But it could be the next stage is, well, what you're actually using this lawn for. Is grass, this type of grass, or is grass the right surface for it, depending on what you're trying to use the lawn for or the garden. So you can see you're moving away from just giving that basic service to actually delivering some form of capability. So we've been doing that within Tactile Technology, and we started out with our SMB customers and looked at what we could deliver to them using the current and also planning some additional infrastructure to be able to do that. And it was really around delivering the capability to operate their business, giving them all the components for that, whether that's compute, storage, networking, those pieces to deliver it, as well as communications, both data and voice. So we went down that space to start with because it was an easy win. It was something we could do quite quickly and give us, our first stepping stone into that space of advanced services. And we could also see, where the pitfalls were and the kind of things we need to think about as we did different things. So what we're doing now is looking at what we do for this next stage. And yesterday I alluded to some pieces which was around this issue that a lot of organisations have got around skills gap. So they don't have the right people to be able to do everything for themselves. So there are some issues around operating things like containers. There are issues around operating and managing virtualized infrastructure. So there's quite a few pieces that we feel that we could help in that space. So about a year ago, we started down the road of getting a project off the ground, working with a number of other organisations to build a digital demonstration platform for advanced services. So the project actually started due to COVID and everything else at the beginning of this month. We've had our first planning meeting, but over the next 18 to 22 months, what we're looking to do is build out our digital demonstration platform. And we're looking at three key areas that we believe that this will be useful for the customers that we're talking to and the customers we have at the moment, plus some potential new customers as well. One of them is doing more of what we're doing at the moment with our SMB customers, but not only providing that compute and data communications, a voice com platform, is to extend that into giving live monitoring and operational management of the applications they're running within them as well. So it's not just delivering that infrastructure for them use. It's doing all the rest of it as well on top of that, the live operational piece as well. We also want to do something similar for traditional virtualized environments where customers have got on-premise or they're using one of the public cloud or multiple public cloud providers. And again, to discover the infrastructure, to set out a way to capture events and metrics, and using AIOPs and ITOM tools to actually deliver a full operational management suite across all that infrastructure. That's on-premise using something like VMware and some set infrastructure, but also into AWS, Azure, and GCP as well. So we can monitor and manage all of that infrastructure. Or what we can do is provide the components to the customer and also write up some of the automation capabilities rather than them doing that for themselves. It all depends on the customer, what they require. But what we're looking to do is deliver a full operational platform. That's what we're going to build in our digital demonstration, in our digital demonstrator for advanced services. The third piece is more around containers, and we've been dealing with a number of organizations over the last 12 to 18 months and looking at what they're doing in that container space. And a lot of people had started to do development work with containers, commonly Docker, but some other runtime container platforms as well. And commonly Kubernetes if they're actually using any orchestration. Some people aren't using orchestrator at the moment, they're just using things like Terraform, Ansible to do the automation, to build out the containers they need and then drop in the workloads afterwards. So what we're looking to do is build up the next stage. So be able to deliver a cluster or multiple clusters into a customer's environment that are fully operationally managed. We're also looking to then provide a mechanism so they can actually move workloads to and from public cloud services or between public cloud services using a single tool to do that. And also finally, we're looking at delivering the capabilities around stateful applications, because ethereal container workloads are pretty straightforward. You don't need to worry about too much. You can spin them up, put code into them, and off they go. But if you're looking at stateful, so you're actually utilizing it to store a database or some other kind of data that the application requires, it becomes a little more difficult to deploy. So what we're delivering part of this process is those persistent volumes to be able to store the data or databases, and the PVCs to claim those across multiple containers or even across clusters. So we can actually put that together and deliver that as a service to a customer. We're also putting on top of that the monitoring and management of it as well. So, dynamically seeing all the containers as they are created, as they disappear, understanding if there are any issues there, and managing the automation capabilities around that. So that's what we're looking to do with this digital demonstrator. So we're going to build that out over the next 18 to 22 months and get it up and running. And we're going to start with some of the easy wins with predominantly the monitoring the container pieces, because we believe that a lot of people need that monitoring capability, and we believe there's a lot of people out there that are struggling to deliver a container-based platform. And if you saw Diamante Monday on Monday, a number of customers we've spoken to started down the route of either trying to build it out using something like OpenStack, or try to deploy using bare metal themselves, and then found that there was some real challenges making these operational, and went back to running something like RHEL or an equivalent Linux distribution within a hypervisor, be able to deploy containers. So they've lost some of the capabilities they would have had and performance from a bare metal platform, and gone back to using a hypervisor. And commonly with a hypervisor, you're also going to have a big cost as well, because of the licensing of it, especially if it's a VMware. So we're looking to build out these three components. And once we've got them built in our own data center environment across multi-cloud as well, so we can demonstrate that multi-cloud capability, we're looking to then develop ways to show this to customers. whether that's going to be live demonstrations, whether that's going to be videos, but also we're looking at finding a mechanism to build out some kind of self-service capability so that customers can come in, look at a particular feature and functionality they want to know more about, and actually go through and see that working themselves in a live environment. So we can actually allow it to say, deploy something like Elastic and see how Elastic is delivered and how it forms and things. So you can actually see all that. Also, the multi-tenancy of the environments as well, especially for the Kubernetes piece. So, a variety of things we're trying to put into this to make it a realistic platform that people can see how they actually adopt it and implement it in their own environments, but also cover off all the key areas that people need to see. And especially in the container space, we see there are a number of areas that are quite important. One is around security, securing the applications and securing the data that the applications are consuming. But also, we see there's some issues around data protection. So protecting that data, so snapshotting and replicating that data elsewhere, but also maybe providing some kind of high availability for the application and the data so that if there was a loss of infrastructure, there is a secondary or tertiary environment that can come up quite quickly and replace it, so there's no loss of service for the customer. So lots of things we're trying to put into this to make it work. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts about digital demonstration platforms. We seem to be going into a very virtual world at the moment. Um, the World Servitization Conference was due to be held earlier this year at the ICC. We were exhibiting there and speaking, and because of the COVID-19 situation, it had to be postponed. It was pushed back to September, and now we're still not in a situation where we can have mass gatherings. So it's now going to be a virtual conference. I've never been to a virtual conference and a virtual exhibition, so it'll be quite interesting to be exhibiting there. And some of the process of building the booth out and what you can do with the booth is a little bit different, I'm sure it's going to be quite a challenging experience, and it's going to be quite interesting how you interact effectively with people who are interested in what you're offering as well. So, we'll see how that fares. But I think this digital demonstration platform is going to be quite important to us because we're all living in this new virtual world, and it's how we can make it as realistic as possible for people to be able to see and interact with the service that we're building out, these advanced services, and that people can see the benefits of them as we do that. So we've got some challenges. I'm sure that we'll actually get through those challenges and end up with something that really works and can offer some real benefit to organizations. But so I'll put a couple of posts on LinkedIn. It'd be quite interesting to see your thoughts on virtual events, if you've been to any recently, and what you're getting from them, and also ways that you're trying to tell people a little bit more about your products and services in this new virtual world. A Zoom meeting is one thing, but there are other mechanisms we can use to get information about the kind of technology and services that we have and how we deliver those. So hopefully that was interest to you to learn a little bit more about what we're doing with this digital demonstrator. I'll actually start posting some pieces up on LinkedIn about how it's progressing. At the moment, it's like the planning stage, so we've got nothing physical there. We've got some work in our data center to upgrade things like firewalls and switches and things to be able to accommodate the new equipment. So that's starting really this weekend. I think we've got a new firewall fitted on Sunday, and then we're building out some of the switch infrastructure. So we've got more capacity to fit more equipment that we're using for the digital demonstrator over time. So it's going to be a couple of weeks before we've got something real physical, but we're hoping to have something we can show at the World Servitization Conference on the 16th of September. So at least we've got something to give people an idea of what we can do with the technology. Thank you very much for your time today. I say hopefully it was of interest, and what I'd like to do is hopefully see you again soon. Tomorrow is our Avocado Friday, where we talk about cross-platform hybrid cloud security systems. It's a bit different to what we normally do, but there's a reason behind it. And I'll tell you a bit of story tomorrow why we did that. And we're back to Diamante Monday next Monday. Thank you very much.